Hello, everyone. Let's start with a little bit of an identity crisis. So all of you are not just human. Instead, we are an ecosystem containing one human and trillions of microbes that live on and in you. The majority of these microbes are bacteria. They live within your gut, known as your gut microbiome. And their numbers are vast, where if you count the number of bacteria that live in your gut, you have as many of them as there are stars in the Milky Way, truly an ecosystem. And when you think about an ecosystem, it's not the easiest thing to visualize. So let's focus on one we're all familiar with, a garden. So the gut microbiome is much like a garden. An ecosystem is diverse, it cooperates, and in this case, DALI 3 gives us an appearance of health. DALI 3 can also give us an appearance of what happens when a microbiome is disrupted, just like your own garden, using things like antibiotics, poor diet, infection, or otherwise. And so our microbiome can also be destroyed. And in recent years, it's been identified that the health of our microbial garden appears to be important. This first started for infectious disease, which makes sense. You have bad microbes that can be combated with good microbes. And now we have an FDA-approved drug for C. diff infection, a nasty GI issue. It's now advanced to understanding its connectivity to immune health with relevance to cancer, as well as, importantly for this audience, brain health. And specifically things like mood disorders, as well as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And so since this is BrainMind, let's go on a little bit of a quest together to get some confidence that, yes, the gut microbiome could be connected to depression. And so the first question I would ask there are people who are depressed. Do they have a higher risk of GI issues? And the answer is largely yes. Up to 75% of people report this. We also take known microbiome modulators all the time, diet as well as antibiotics. And a poor diet as well as antibiotic use is associated with an increased risk of depression. But antiviral use and antifungal use is not, suggesting it could be bacteria driving this. And then getting into the crazy stuff, you can also take the microbiome from people who are depressed, transfer that into rodents, and transfer depressive-like behavior, suggesting an element of causality. And that transference experiment has been seen for other areas too, 2 or 3 days ago for Alzheimer's. So then it brings it back to this. What if the disruption of our microbial garden could be driving some of these diseases? How can we fix it? And so first, we need knowledge. We need to fundamentally understand how our gut microbes impact human biology. What targets do they interact? What bacteria are good? What bacteria are bad? Next, we actually need tools to replant the garden. And so with sequencing technology, we as a society have the privilege of being able to understand what microbes live within the gastrointestinal tract. And there's somewhere around 5,000 species collectively known to exist within the human gut. But only about 1,000 of these have even been cultured by scientists. This means we can see what's there, but we really can't study it too effectively. And it's even worse for folks who want to change their microbial garden. What you can buy at probiotics today represents a very small minority of what actually exists within the gut of people. And see this on the lower right-hand side? It's basically all the same stuff with fancy marketing. So then the question is, how do we bring forth this era of agriculture? How do we capture this diversity and give it in the hands of people to potentially improve health? Enter Holobiome. So one of the first things that we do is we get samples. So most people don't like it when poop shows up on your doorstep. We do, and in fact, we pay about a $50 Amazon gift card for anyone that sends us their sample. This is really just a way for us to get the microbiome from society, and we have a donor network of around 9,000 people. The next step is we actually use decades of microbiology to culture all the bacteria that exist within these samples. We're building a collection, a comprehensive collection of all known human gut bacteria, and we're protecting this in what we call our microbiota vault, with the goal to give this back to society. And then when you have the microbes in hand, this is where you can actually learn. You can generate tremendous amounts of data using multi-omic technologies like genomics and metabolomics. But importantly, you can actually take these microbes and screen them against known biological targets that we think matter for human health. You can build an interface of how microbes influence us. And with this knowledge, we can develop tools. And the tools we're focused on are superhero microbes, which are probiotics, as well as things to feed those microbes, prebiotics. And our goal is to transform the microbiome in a way to improve health and provide humanity with resilience to disease. But it's not all just conjecture. So we have a single strain of human gut bacteria that we developed at 2 targets relevant for depression that has efficacy comparable to ketamine in animal models of depression. We also have programs in areas like pain and infant health. We built the platform. We now want to apply it broadly. And what we fundamentally believe is that the future of health is microbial. And if we can capture the power of our microbial passengers, we will have the ability to defeat disease. And I think this is very analogous to some of the innovations in nutrition, where things like goiters once were a disease. Till we discovered it was a deficiency of iodine, we put it in our salt, and now goiters are gone. What if, by correcting the microbial ecosystem, you could do the same for mood disorders, for dementia? This is something that Holobiome intends to figure out. Thank you.